So, there's a certain feeling you've been noticing frequently, however, you have been avoiding acknowledging it wholeheartedly. Whether it's a decision based around your relationships with others, your career, or an opportunity you're afraid to pass up. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of trusting your gut. It's Rosie Quartz here, welcome, and I'm so excited to be discussing my new mini-series that I would like to do on this channel right here. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that this year I am trying to divide the year into eras, okay? And these eras gradually unravel a story through each of my songs. So it's a story that highlights my growth as an individual as I navigate through my messy love life, and it's one hell of a roller coaster. So I figured as I'm going through each of the eras that I could make YouTube videos just offering advice on some of the things that I've learned along the way. And these are things that I would have loved to be able to hear whilst going through all of this, because there's definitely feelings that I went through that I just felt like I was really alone, when really you're never alone in what you're feeling. You never are. There's always people who are going through the same thing. Sometimes they just aren't as open about it. You know, I'm often told I'm too much of an open book, but I just like sharing my experiences and being able to help other people. So if that kind of magnifies all my issues, whatever, as long as I can help other people, why not? And so the first era is the exploration era. All right, so this era represents a time in my early 20s where I was single and trying to rediscover myself. Prior to this, I was in a 3-year relationship that I had abruptly ended due to having a gut feeling that it wasn't my time to settle down yet. So I was suddenly left to learn about myself all over again. My favorite thing ever to do before listening to a nice little pep talk is to get comfortable, get cozy, grab my favorite beverage, whether it be a tea, coffee. My favorite is French coffee. Always has to be in a cute mug. So grab your beverage of choice and come join me for our first ever cozy talk with Rosie Quartz. Roxy! Hi! Hello! Okay, be free. Be free. Okay, trusting your gut. So this is a topic that I've wanted to touch on first because it's something that I really struggled with, especially towards the end of like the breakdown of my first serious relationship. My gut was signaling one thing and my mind was telling me another thing. So it was a mess, and it was confusing, and it was a time where I was just like, oh, what do I do? Like, what do I do? I didn't know if I was just being silly or if I was overthinking it. Like I had no trust in myself. I just thought, surely, why am I getting thoughts that I don't want to have in my mind? Like, go away, I don't want you. But they existed, so I had to face them sooner or later. In life, look, you're always going to experience uncomfortable feelings. Some with more positivity associated with them, and others that just have the most negative energy. So the ones that bring negative energy and stigma are usually the ones that we avoid acknowledging. Or we know they're there, but we just want to be like, sorry, don't hear you, don't see you, you don't exist. The uncomfortable feeling that I was experiencing at this stage of my life was a deep, dreaded fear of commitment that I did not want to face. Why is that thing telling me that? I don't hear it. I don't know. Crippling fear of missing out and wondering what if, that really impacted my ability to feel content in this relationship I was in. It made me question whether or not I was in the right relationship, because I was like, well, if I was, I shouldn't be feeling these feelings, right? So I was really anxious when those feelings popped up because it was all new to me as well. Like, for the longest time in high school, I just wanted a boyfriend. You know, I was so excited to have my first serious relationship. So when I had my first one, I just didn't expect to get negative feelings about it. Even though it was such a great relationship, like, it was just so confusing to me and nothing was making sense. So it was a really frustrating time, and it led me to question how happy I was in my relationship. and not for anything other than curiosity and, well, anxiety. He was an amazing guy, and I think that's why I was so confused. And to be honest, I think that's what led me to avoid facing the doubts that were just lingering in my head. I didn't want to believe them. I was like, nothing's wrong, everything's great. And of course, facing it would mean that I could potentially lose something that was really important to me. And so I ignored it, of course, for as long as I could. You know, I even convinced myself that no, I'm self-sabotaging. You know, this isn't what I actually feel. I'm just nitpicking, which I mean, I could have been self-sabotaging, until one day the urge to just throw everything away, just to escape all the overwhelming pressure and confusion that I was facing. It just weighed so heavily on me that one day it was like a switch and I just left. I kid you not, it was so sudden. I had barely been able to process it, and I had barely been able to process how big of a decision it was to just walk away from this great 3-year relationship because of something that I didn't understand, but something that I felt so strongly. It was tough. The decision to leave came so quick, but the cycle of overthinking and doubting and worrying and stressing that this relationship, something doesn't feel right, that lingered for months. I just had to give in to the thoughts that were consuming me. So I did that. And it was scary, it was terrifying. Like, I never realized how much I'd struggle to be alone until I was alone. Like, before being in this serious relationship, it was fine because I didn't have someone with me all the time anyway. But then being with someone and like you merge just about into the two people, well, that's what it feels like. I'm not saying it's healthy because it shouldn't be what it's like, but that's usually what ends up happening when you're young and you're dating someone. They just become your everything. So when that's gone, it's just like, whoa, what the hell? What now? So each day following the breakup, I started reflecting on how I felt, and to try and understand how what I had just done was impacting me. And I mean, writing it all down really helped me to understand what I was feeling. So I was upset, of course, and mostly afraid, but the feeling that I felt the strongest was that I felt lighter. I felt all the pressure that I previously had just kind of lift off my shoulders. It felt right. I don't know why. It wasn't a decision that I knew in my heart that I wanted, but for whatever reason, it felt right. Every day would go by and I would be waiting to regret my decision. But that feeling never really came. Why? Because I trusted and followed my gut, I guess. I followed it for a reason. So whatever reason it was, I still don't know, because still to this day, I kid you not, I can't fault the guy. It's not like we broke up and I had this huge epiphany that, oh, that's why we broke up. Like, no, that never came. That never came. Looking back now, I can see that, you know, it's led me to such a better place. And I do feel content where I am right now, which is amazing. And that's just a feeling that I hadn't got at that time. And I don't think I was going to be ready to experience at that age. I was like 21, so young to be thinking about commitment and whatnot. But I don't know, I'm a pretty serious person. I just like to plan out my life and know where I'm heading. So I didn't want to waste any time. I just have to trust that it wasn't my time to settle. This just has to be the time for me to explore connections for whatever reason, to know what I really want in a partner, because even though this is good, something missing that I don't know I don't know what's missing, but something's missing. I mean, I'm a really anxious person, so I feel like for me, I really needed that. Some people don't need that, or they don't feel the need for that, so that's fine, but I felt like I needed that. I believe that there are people who can feel content with being with one person forever, and there's people who are more on the anxious side who just need more time to figure it out. And that's okay. That's fine. I hated being one of those people. Like, because I had friends, my closest friend, she's met her partner and she's been solid like for the longest time, and they just knew straight away. And it's like, I want that. I want to just know, but I wasn't there yet. So I wasn't just wanting to settle, you know? And there's so much stigma behind exploring your options, and I get it. In the times we're in, it's just so easy to dispose of people and swipe right to the next best thing. Like, I get it. But in such a pressured society, I feel like you need to be kind to yourself and just do what feels best for you. Yes, there's stigma about, I mean, I wouldn't say maybe it's just me who thinks this, because like I said, I'm a real anxious person, and I always think that people are judging me all the time for whatever I do. Sometimes you feel pressured to stay with someone if they're a good person, but there's so many people in the world. You can still find a good person who gives you those same feelings that you're searching for. You know what my dad has told me? And it has always settled my anxiety over decision making. My dad has this belief that our lives are like a story that's already planned out. It's already decided, like it's already written for us. So whatever is meant to be will be, he says. He always tells me, don't stress about making decisions, because the choice that you're supposed to make is the one you're bound to make anyway. It's already decided for you. You just need to trust that for whatever reason, this decision is a part of your journey. And I mean, it may impact you for the better or the worse. But I trust that in every bad place you end up, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You may not see it yet. You know, you may make a decision and it does terrible things to your life, and you're like, oh God, I made a mistake, and you have regrets. But it may just take a while for you to see why that decision was needed in the end, and how in the end it's led to something positive. So trust that you'll make the right decision. Just trust your gut. If you've got a big decision weighing on you, I just want us here to take a moment, okay? Just gonna take a moment to sit with whatever feeling it is that you're feeling. I want you to just breathe and acknowledge it. You can take a moment to challenge it or think logically about worst case scenario that could happen if you pursue this decision, or the impact it may bring. It's perfectly normal and I think wise to at least consider those things. But through all this, I just want you to trust that the decision that you're supposed to make is the one that you're naturally going to gravitate towards, because the story's already got it written down for you. You've got this. Okay, much love. Look after yourselves, be kind to yourselves. It's Rosie Quartz, and I will see you next time.